Welcome to the Compliance as Code demo. This is a part of a method and process for breaking down regulatory and security compliance into blocks and embedding them into the delivery pipeline. In our demo, we're going to use three tools. So the first one on the left is the Chef Compliance server, and that will store our compliance profiles, connect to the nodes, and run them against our three sample nodes. Prometheus will fetch the metrics from Chef Compliance using our module called the Compliance Exporter, and Grafana is going to provide a customizable dashboard to visually display the compliance results. The Chef Compliance Exporter will poll the compliance server every 60 seconds and will be available for the Prometheus server for collection and storage. What we're looking at now is our Grafana dashboard. We've got three targets that I mentioned before. Each of those three targets have a measure of the critical and the OK compliance rules run, as well as a graph of the NTP drift. There's failure trends, and I've also included some alerts here. These are highly customizable, so you can include whatever compliance metrics you want to be able to track your estate. Now, as I log into the Chef Compliance server here, you can see a dashboard. Here are my three targets, and I can see my node status for each of those. So I can see this one's compliant at all three rules. If I go back to my node status here, I can actually see what rules have been run. So I've got a MiFID compliance test and two others. And if I look at my reports, I can see the previous scans that have been run against my node. So I can also see that there are some jobs scheduled, and I can see this one is set to scan every minute. So my two compliance profiles are set to scan every 1 minute. There are a plethora of different scans that I can run. As an example, here's the compliance check that we've got in line with MiFID to check that the NTP server is configured correctly. How we do this is we check an NTP config, and we check that it's configured to point to my sample server. What we know is that, as we saw before, our target one was failing. So I'm going to quickly change that etc etc.conf file, and as I open that, I can see that it's pointing to the default pool of Ubuntu NTP servers that are unreliable and not fit for trade stamping to the granularity that we require. So what I do here is I put in my, in theory, approved NTP server in the right stratum, and what I do is I remove the Ubuntu default servers across my estate. And when I save that, I don't have to do this, but just to show you, I'm going to rerun the compliance scan against my nodes. So if I open my dashboard now, I can log into that node with critical issues, and I can see that there's one uncompliant critical issue, and I'll rescan that now with those two profiles. So if I scan the Chef application, I can see that those three items will be compliant, and reflecting that in my Grafana dashboard, we can see it flick shortly to compliant. There we go. So now we can see that my central dashboard is compliant, and I have a measure and method for visually ensuring that all my estate is compliant via those controls that we saw using compliance as code. If you have any questions, please either email me or visit contino.io.